Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I believe today's 31st of May, and a little correction from my last video. I thought tomorrow, when I read it, I was thinking June 30th is when Roger Stone's going to jail. And I said, oh, that's tomorrow. And you guys were kind enough to say, no, you idiot. It's next month. So anyway, just apologies. It was minor enough that it wasn't worth, redoing the whole video. But my friend that helps me with getting rid of the bots and stuff, I had the video up maybe 20 minutes, that last video. And he said, wow, 1,777 comments. And I'm like, what? Because if, over time, I do get over 1,000 comments, but for only 20 minutes, I'm like, what's going on? And then he looked and he realized it was February 15th of last year. But 700 of those were bots. He said it was like an attack. We don't know how long it was sitting there. But he went through and removed all of them. So don't worry about me with bots. Don't worry about me, period, because there's such a kind peace and love going on around us right now. I know it sounds crazy. Okay, so we got some stuff to talk about today. So some of the things our guides were, I call them our guides because they work for you guys too. They were spot on. I remember I get pictures. I saw protests or marching in the streets. And that has taken place. I also saw a news station getting hit, and that has come true. It may even be more coming up. I don't know. So thank you guys. You guys were correct. People going, oh my God, I get that a lot. Thank you, you guys, because you're like writing me, Linda, you said this. You said this. I'm going to tell you something straight up right now because it's totally on in my mind's eye. Barr is lying. Barr is lying about the far left. There are some far left players. They will show that. But as you ask them for proof, it dwindles. Does that make sense? I see cameras, so it's not just the iPhones. I see cameras. I see actual addressing of the people who did this. Now, it may take through the new administration, but they're going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that some players came in to exacerbate this. Apparently, the gentleman that started the fire, one of the first fires in Minneapolis, apparently, I can't, I'm just telling you hearsay. But I didn't ask my guides either. But apparently it was somebody that was a police officer. Of course, the police are saying, no, it's not him. But, it's so sad because we've lost George Floyd. We've lost recently, Breanna Taylor. She was shot 5 times. Ahmad Avery, who was killed for jogging. And I see that little girl, that Breanna. Oh my God, she's so pretty. She's just this bubbly light. And she's transitioning, but I can feel her. Her light is really bright. I don't do readings, mediumship readings when people initially die because they're transferring over. Now, which is interesting because who stepped in was Kobe Bryant. He's transferred over. He's this bright light. He's beautiful. He's very proud of his family, and he's very touched by how people thought of him. He didn't even think he was all that, and he was. So There's a lot of love going towards his wife. But he popped in for a minute and he's like, I made it. So just beautiful stuff. I mean, I got to tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, for some reason, remember I did the Ulysses S. Grant? Well, I had mentioned, I thought I saw Frederick Douglas and wasn't sure. He hadn't been in my mind's eye. And then this morning he came through. Tall, young. He's a very powerful energy form, you guys. He's almost what we call a walk-in. He came in to do the job of the best job he could for healing the nation. I was looking for other lives he may have taken, and I wasn't really picking up. So I'm wondering if he's so high he doesn't have to take another life, because he basically served on behalf of the universal consciousness, on behalf of the betterment of mankind. He actually told me, Linda, I have some tribal blood in me too. So I think he had a part Indian. Now, they never knew who his father was, but it definitely, it feels like someone who worked or someone who oversaw his mother. It doesn't feel like it was a romance. It doesn't feel like that at all. But he was a white man. He never got to meet his mother, but his mother's there. He's very learned and very beautiful and very sad. But this was as prophesied. So this race thing, it's just going, it just keeps going. And what's interesting, I'm going to tell you guys, a lot of the people that are being hurt, like when I go to look at these other young people that were killed, a lot of them were slave owners in another life. So all of them, not that they deserve to die, but I'm just saying. And then the people who are fighting and stuff, they were part of the lynch mob. Some of these souls have to know what it feels like to be a black man or woman in this generation. So he says to me, this is all bringing us to the light. This is all making us better. Okay, thank you. He told me the president is not a good man. But he exacerbated everything so much. See, we still have free will. So they can't interrupt. Sorry, the light from here is back there. Can't do nothing right now. So even though we have free will, know that they are with us. Somebody turned me on to a movie called Close Encounters of a Fifth Kind. Very interesting, if you could. I think it was on Netflix or something. It's about those beings on the other side. And I've seen them, other galaxies. I know the Christ consciousness goes there. I know the God consciousness is not a man sitting on a throne. It's all vibrationally connected. And so this beautiful energy forms are all around us. And if they were going to overtake the earth, they would have overtaken the earth. But it's about love. And they even show how you can meditate and go out and talk to them. So, you know, I may try that next. But they want well-being for mankind. But they cannot interfere because, well, they can physically interfere with nuclear. But they cannot interfere for free will. So, so tell me, Frederick. It's almost like he was born in this world and he barely had a name or a reason to be so great. And then this kind slave owner started teaching him how to read. And he loved it. He consumed it. And then I guess her husband didn't like it. So she had to stop. But he considered to consume. And, you know, him and his wife help people, help slaves, free slaves. Just a beautiful energy form. I cannot begin to tell you. He's even stronger than Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King did a lot. He worked through the fabric of selective consciousness. He was somebody that came here to help us grow. And the violence is not something that they agree with. Yes, the anger is there. The youth is there. The anger and the thievery, too. It's like there's so much hate towards the white man or corporations. They're like, well, let me go help myself. And they really shouldn't, but you know what I'm saying. Anybody remember the Watts riots? I was young when that happened. was just horrible. Remember that guy came out of the truck and they were hitting him across the head? It was horrible. So, but racism is alive and well. Barr is lying. There will be proof beyond a reasonable... Okay, thank you. There will be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that this is not true. They will have proof that people have come in. Is this part of Russia? Yes. So I don't look at Fox News, but I imagine they're going crazy on this about how the far right started all this. But it's lies. So as lies go out, it's just going to start to dissipate. Vibrationally, we're getting higher. And how you help yourself with that is try not to go in a place of negative. I'm still getting panic emails every once in a while. Somebody was panicked that, will these race wars bring Trump in again? No. Trump is on his way out the door. He did his bit. He's destroyed us enough. It's time for him to move on. Okay, so, but I definitely hear from Frederick. I don't hear from George Floyd. But Frederick says, and he's not out like for justice. He's just saying this collective consciousness, this love energy. I don't know how long it could take, but I do see an earth with beautiful energy, with everybody loving each other. But anyway, he said that there will be another, that there will be another autopsy report that totally contradicts the other one. This guy was in somebody's pocket. Even Barr might have got to him and said, we need you to, develop this in a way that makes it look like it was him. Like the knee on the throat had nothing to do with it. And a bunch of doctors on Twitter are writing and saying, geez, dude, I'm a doctor. I'm a ER doctor. I'll tell you right now, the knee on the throat had everything to do with it. And a client of mine sent me the actual video. I couldn't watch it, where he was actually urinating on himself and begging for mercy. And a firefighter, female firefighter, she might have been off duty, said, let me take his pulse, and he refused to let her take the pulse. So it was pretty ugly, you guys. But know that this beautiful being, George Floyd, who actually thought his life wasn't amounting to much, which is interesting, he is in their hands. He sacrificed himself for the sake of mankind. I love that beautiful girl. I don't know if anybody knows her family, she could come through strong. I don't like reading for people that are cross without the family's permission, but I can tell you, Frederick Douglas has been gone a long time, so it's cool. But the energy is just so beautiful, so powerful. So they are okay. It's us who are in the hellhole. Okay? So I just wanted to talk about that. And let's see if we have something else coming up that I need to give you a heads up on. What do I tell everybody? Oh, you guys, I gained so much weight sitting at home. That's okay. I start Monday. Just going to have lightweight. I'm really going to cut it down. What can I tell everybody? What do you want to tell everybody? You know who's standing here? Is Ulysses S. Grant. He's standing here. Somebody asked me if I could read on one of the presidents. If I don't read on them, it's because they haven't come through. They'll tend to knock on the door. The Kennedys come through. Roosevelt comes through. I don't think I ever got eyes. Teddy Roosevelt was another one that came through. Like, I don't get Nixon and I don't get Reagan. Reagan is energetically kind of paying for a lot of damage, so I don't know what that means. Okay, so what do you want us to tell everybody? What do you want to warn them about or let them know? Thank you, by the way, for the information you did give. That was correct. Toasting of the cups. So in the basis of this and the world, did you guys see the UK is marching on behalf of George too? So we're toasting the world. We're looking at new beginnings. There's still going to be some chaos with the gatherings. We still might have a little more, but it seems to filter out. Yeah, they caused extensive monetary damage, you know, which we shouldn't worry about money, but I see people upset about that. It's bad enough we're going through the virus, you know. Fortunes will change, you guys. Fortunes would change, the war is won. And it's the war against this bad man. He has broken the hearts of so many. And people just love him. Even though he lies as he speaks, people love him. And don't worry, he's going. And he's throwing money at the stock market like that's going to make a difference. But people are looking at, 30, 40 million with no jobs? It's like, dude. But a lot of people are angry at the protesters. I do see that. So some people are for Donald Trump, but it's not going to let him be president again. He's just a little too out there. He's too wacko. So, I wanted to tell you guys something else. So, I guess Justice Roberts voted for California for keeping a distance following the thing with this pandemic. And Kavanaugh wrote the dissent. And I was just flashed on him for a second. And I just saw he's going to go down. I'm going to tell you something. Everything Trump touched will be ruined. Everything he touches is ruined anyway. But he does these things and he does the dissent and he's all, you know, churches are like a business. Well, okay, pay taxes. You want that kind of coverage? You want everything to be okay with church? Churches are having a very hard time. That I will say. And there's some good ones out there, but remember, Constantine came through and took that Bible and cut and paste because they didn't want any idea that Jesus was a rabbi and had a wife. Oh, God, no. We got to say that woman was a prostitute. So, priests used to be able to get married, and they can't now because some pope changed it. There's a lot of energy with the Catholic Church and a lot of people. I love Catholicism, although I'm not Catholic and I collect antiquities, Catholic antiquities. But there's that general sense of the collective Christ consciousness is there, but the Catholic Church itself isn't very good. Ooh, Frederick Douglas just said to me, okay, so Abraham Lincoln's with him. Abraham Lincoln has taken other lives. Frederick is just this bright light. But anyway, he said, where was I going with this, Frederick? Sorry, I interrupted you. The collective conscience. Things are definitely going to start to improve. But we cannot sit in deceit anymore. No more deceit. And this white power energy and this Confederate energy is let's stand by the flag that wanted slaves to be half people or quarter. They weren't even counted as a full human being. They're the ones that worked the land to help, actually, America. Isn't that nice? So abolitionists and people said no more. That battle, you won't believe the lies that were lost in the Civil War. Well, I wish you would believe it. But it's interesting. Those soul energies got like extra brownie points on the other side for working for a cause that was right. And that's what Frederick Douglass did. He was working for a cause that was right. He was powerful. He might have... I'm telling you, he might have been a walk-in because I'm feeling like someone else walked in his body and took over. You know, there are walk-ins in this world, certain energies. Even Abraham Lincoln was a walk-in. Where they go to this place of depression, and then boom. When there's a magical thing, sometimes it's walk-in related, or sometimes you're just connecting with the force that is far greater than us. Okay, so, of course, I'm talking away and I'm kind of forgetting where I'm going. So, now I got to start again. Okay, let's just see what they want to say. Barr is lying. I just keep hearing that. Sorry, you guys. And I don't think that Durham guy has much for him. You know, that Durham that he has going around trying to find. And that's why they got rid of the justice lawyer. They just got rid of him. FBI lawyer. Because he was part of the reason that Flynn got in trouble. So there's good news, you guys. So what's coming up is there's good news. You know, we got to stop working on Trump. That's what I just heard. We're going to have to stand away from the demon. We're going to have to quit going crazy in our imagination. And, you know, the media helps do that. Fox, look at the Fox News people. They got a whole different story because they're feeding them this information. And it's all these other news stations. You know, if you get like PBS or something, they go over the details and they don't keep running at it. These other stations, that's how they make their money. Now they're down there with these protests and just feeding it. Did you see Washington, D.C.? And he's calling for, you know, he'd love people to be shot. I'm telling you. He'd probably do a nuke if he could. Yeah, but there's people that are really like, yes, Mr. President. I do see that. So it's sort of that energy of the Confederates versus the Union. It's that energy. It's almost like we're going back into that. Like probably karmically, there's a lot of people on this earth that are playing the same role. Okay, so listen, you guys. I'm going to be doing Sterling today. And I also want to tell you that I am no longer doing Wix. Okay, I'm about ready to take it down. But if you have an appointment with Wix, I've got you. Okay, that calendar I can see. And I'm writing down some people booked in 2021, not too many. But if you need anything, you're going to have to go through Angel Heart for You. They're the ones that are scheduling me. Because Wix, they did it again. I have somebody coming up where they booked 2 people in the same hour. 2-hour appointments in the same time. The only thing I can think is maybe they, both of them were putting in at the same time. That's what I got to think happened. So, no more booking through Wix. Call Angel Heart for You. I'll post the number in the box down below. I'll post the link or I'll mention these movies again. I did post this grounding on the YouTube in the community section. So take a look. See, it was interesting. In fact, I even went outside and walked the ground again. When I was young, you know, I had curly hair, but I ironed it because everybody had straight, long hair. And I had, my mother was very, you know, did you wash those hands? Did you put your shoes on? Well, as soon as I got outside, I took those shoes off. You talk about being an engine. I walk around barefooted to the bottom of my soles where it's just like this thick. I could walk over glass. Because in those days, being like a hippie energy, you had, you know, you wear the band across your head. I used to wear baggy jeans and BVD shirts and always carried a big comb. And I would walk around barefooted. That's how I was. And a lot of other kids used to do it. Yeah, so the bottom of my feet were black. It drove my mom nuts. She absolutely hated it. So, okay, you guys. So I love you all, and I'll talk to you again. I don't want you guys to worry. Tell me a little bit more. The riots are actually going to calm down. It starts to calm down. Some more surprises with Trump. He's going to do something else. Of course, when does he stop? There's some more surprises. He's really getting desperate because he knows his numbers are falling. And he doesn't want mail-in votes because, okay, thank you. I'm going to tell you this. Right when I was saying that he doesn't want mail-in votes, I see maybe even SCOTUS, it even going before SCOTUS. But I actually feel, because you remember they voted against Wisconsin and said, no, you can't. I think that they won't be able to, it will not work. People will still be able to do mail-in votes. If you do mail-in votes, the Republicans are going to lose. Really? Wonder why that is. I've been doing mail-in votes for years. So don't worry. Fight the good battle. If you can't fight it energetically, financially, put your mind out there. Tell that whatever powers be, thank you. Thank you for these lessons we're learning, and whatever I can do spiritually, prayer-wise to help, let me help. How do you like my Ruth behind? See, she's right behind me. She knows what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys. Love y'all. Ciao.